Hello, my name is Paul Vayu. I am an MDM and PIM solution specialist with Informatica, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a unique and compelling solution that is being brought together by Heiler PIM and Informatica MDM. This is a solution that is unique in the market that provides a very specific set of capabilities around product information management and multi-domain MDM. So let's talk a little bit about what you're going to be seeing today. So a little bit of background is there are a couple of different organizations that are part of this particular demonstration. The first one is the retailer. The name of the retailer is Domus, and they're a omni-channel hard good retailer that sells things like saws, drills, etc. They have traditional brick and mortar store locations, as well as an e-commerce site and mobile website that allows you to buy their products. The supplier in this case is a company called Hard Hat Co. And they're very interested in selling their goods and services to Domus. But before Domus can actually sell their goods, they need to go through a formal supplier adoption process and to basically ensure not only the financial viability of Hard Hat Co., but that they offer the right product and services for Domus. We talk a little bit about the business challenges that Domus is trying to solve here with this particular solution. And the primary one is trying to adopt, again, new and compelling and innovative suppliers. It's a very competitive marketplace, and they need to be able to provide these new and interesting products that allow them to remain competitive in the marketplace. And more importantly, from an e-commerce perspective, with initiatives such as Longtail, the ability to offer the endless aisle concept, meaning that these are niche particular products, is also very effective for Domus because these are typically the most profitable products that they can sell. One of the other challenges that Domus has is actually getting the supplier data in a format that it can actually start to transact on. The actual supplier data typically comes in like the wrong format. It's typically lots of errors with the information that's in the particular spreadsheet that they would receive from them, and that just results in a poor quality and lengthy process to actually adopt that particular supplier's product data. So what also is missing is the ability for Domus to take the supplier data and to apply like cross-sell and upsell, product substitution, and things like that. They have very challenging back-end systems that make it very difficult for them to be able to do that. And also one of the things that Domus lacks is really that holistic view of not only the product that they sell in the different store locations, but really understanding the different suppliers and manufacturers, the different distribution centers and store locations that would actually carry that particular product. So today they don't have one system that shows them that. They have a number of different systems that show them pieces of this, but again, not a single solution that gives them that 360-degree view of product, supplier, manufacturer, and location. And as a result of everything I just mentioned, this has a huge impact on the overall costs, the ability to make a profit, and customer satisfaction, again, because of the fact that customers aren't able to find the right products with the right product descriptions, as well as cross-sell and upsell relationship information. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the demo now. So the first step in this process is for our supplier, Hard Hat Co., to provide some basic information about themselves to our retailer, Domus. So Domus has actually created a hosted supplier portal which allows Domus's suppliers to log in, to register themselves, and to provide pricing and product data information to Domus. So let's go ahead here and put in information about ourselves. Put in our email address. Let's try that again here. Put in our tax ID, and we'll put in a street address. And I can't remember all of it here. I'll just put in some partial information. Don't remember the zip code. and I just put 100 Cardinal Street, Redwood City, California. As soon as I click on apply, what is going to happen is the supplier portal is actually connected to Address Doctor, and Address Doctor is going to go through the process of correcting our street address. So it's not Cardinal Street, it's actually Cardinal Way, and we've provided a zip code. So we can go ahead and review this one more time, and we can go ahead and click on apply, and at this point we have submitted very little information to Domus, and Domus will now take the process one step further to decide whether or not they want to do business with Hardhat Co. So the next step of the process is for our retailer Domus to log into MDM to evaluate whether or not that they actually want to do business with Hardhat Co. So let's go ahead and log into IDD, log in as approver, click OK. And we see the typical task here. So here's the task that was created as a result of our new supplier doing their self-registration. So that information flowed into Informatica MDM, where we now have a supplier adoption person from Domus to actually review information about them. So let's go ahead and open up this task. And so we're going to again see the information that our supplier had provided, some information about their email address, their tax ID, the address information, which has now been automatically corrected at the point of entry in the supplier portal. So at this point, as a supplier adoption person, there are some additional kind of internal business processes that need to take place, and I can actually take a look at what those business process looks like by looking at the process diagram. So this gives you an idea of all of the different steps and all the different people within Domus that are responsible for adopting and approving of our new supplier Hardhat Co. Okay, so just wanted to provide that little bit of overview. So as part of this process, again, we can integrate with Dun and Bradstreet information to see whether or not this particular supplier, for example, has a parent organization that we might be doing business with, as well as provide information on, again, credit worthiness and those types of financial aspects. So at this point, I'm actually okay with how everything looks, so I'm just going to go ahead and approve this. At this point, it would move through the process. I can add a comment here. And it would go on to the different people within Domus to go ahead and approve this. So at this point, we are completed this particular process. So now we're in the next step of this business process. So I've changed rules once again here. So now I am the supplier Hardhat Co. And I've actually logged into my corporate email system, and I see here that I got an email from Domus saying that we are now an official supplier with them, and here is an invitation for us to provide product content to them. So I will go ahead and click on this link, which takes me to the Domus supplier portal, where I can provide information about myself. So I will go ahead and put my name as well as a password. And I agree to their terms of use and click register. So at this point, again, I'm still within the Domus hosted supplier portal, and what we have here are a number of different options, but really the first step as a new supplier is I want to provide product content to them so that they can get this information into their back end system so they can start to take orders from us. So I'm going to go ahead and upload the data, and I'm going to go ahead and do kind of standard supplier data. We also have the option to provide supply price information as well. For purposes of this demo, we're only going to be focusing on product content. So I'll go ahead and click next. So I'll go ahead and choose my file. And what Domus has provided us as a supplier is a format that conforms to their requirements. So I have taken my Hardhat Co. information and have put it into the appropriate Excel format where each of the different columns are known entities. So I'll go ahead and I'll choose my file, and I will take the item data here, click open. and I want to go ahead and run this immediately. So I'll click on Next, and that process will start. So the process of what's happening now is I'm taking my supplier spreadsheet and I am now bringing it into the Domus world, where we're going to be looking at a number of different things. So after we've actually loaded our product data, we have the ability to do a number of different options here. One of the things I want to do here is I can actually go in and view the different reports here. So I can actually take a look to see how things went here. So I can go ahead and view this report. I can see here that 369 items were created. There were no updates, no errors or warnings. Okay, I'll talk a little bit more about errors and warnings here in a second. But all that means is that the information in the spreadsheet met those particular requirements. But we can go one step further from a data quality perspective to really understand whether or not the data meets Domus's requirements or not. So, and that's what I'm going to show here next. So, we actually what's nice about the supplier environment here, the supplier portal environment, is I have the ability to interact with Domus people here. So here's a portal administrator from Domus, and they've actually sent us a message here saying that some of our items have negative data quality checks. So I can actually interact directly with my retailer, in this case here Domus, in a real-time fashion and get information back and forth. So this is a really good collaborative environment to be able to do that. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let's go ahead and open this up with Excel. Let's do this here. And what we see here are a number of items that failed due to different reasons here. For example, here's an item. It failed because the lead time exceeded 15 days. So that is a business requirement that Domus has, that we have a 15-day or less lead time for any particular item. Okay. We can also see here that we have a profanity filter where perhaps maybe we had misspelled something. In this case here was wench. So if there's any profanity, either on purpose or accidental, we were able to catch that, along with many other types of data quality checks. So again, this provides us the ability, Domus gives us the ability to communicate directly with our supplier, particular items that need to be redone and resubmitted to Domus. So we'll go ahead here and close this Excel. Okay. So really, at this point, what I want to be able to do is take a look and kind of understand a little bit more about kind of the data quality scorecard. So as a supplier, I actually have the ability to take a look at the quality of the data that I am providing to Domus. Okay, so if I click on this link here, it's going to take me directly to a data quality scorecard screen, which is going to show me different particular metrics on completeness, conformity, and accuracy. So completeness is exactly that. It's really looking for missing data. Fields that might be blank, or perhaps dates that might have default dates like January 1st of 1900 and things like that. So we want to make sure that everything is complete from a data perspective. From a conformity perspective, again, we want to make sure that for example, phone numbers are in the right format, that we haven't omitted area codes or country codes and things like that. And accurate is exactly that. So accuracy, what we want to make sure is that that the information we're providing is actually reliable, and we can actually validate that through reference tables within data quality, to make sure that that particular data we're providing is accurate. And we can see here that there are a number of issues here. As a supplier, when I look at this, I can see here that I have a couple of areas that I need to work on here. So one of them actually happens to be this manufacturer status. So I can actually drill down on this and understand a little bit more details on specifically what I need to do here. So I can go ahead and click drill down. And we will see this here in a second. So I want to actually take a look at my invalid information here. And so what we see here from a manufacturer status code, it actually happens to be the manufacturer name. So the supplier data that I provided to Domus, this is the actual format that it came in. So we can see here that there's a little bit different formats for this particular manufacturer. Orion is in lower caps, etc. So as part of Domus's data quality process, we're actually able to take information like this and we're able to correct it. So what we're saying back to the supplier is, you know what, your data isn't quite up to snuff. Here is the particular problem areas that you need to address. But from Domus's perspective, we've actually gone in and correct that, and I'll show you that in a later section of the demo here. One additional item to point out here is I, as a supplier, Hard Hat Co., I have the ability to understand over time as I continue to provide this product data to Domus, as I can actually take a look at the trend here. So I can see whether or not that, for example, over time, if I am improving the manufacturer information to Domus. So right now it's in the red, but hopefully over time I can get that into the green. And so from a scoring trend perspective, you would see that arrow going up. And as you know, there are a number of different reports that we can look at to see, how this information trends over a longer period of time. But since I'm a new supplier, and this is the very first time, there's not a whole lot of data here to show here. So really, as a supplier, I want to maybe get a little bit understanding from a manufacturer perspective, what were the different variations in some of these different names here. So I can actually go to the View Data Quality Profile here, and I can actually take a look at specifically that information on the manufacturer. Okay, so so Domus has actually exposed to the supplier some data quality functionality here. So again, I can go to the manufacturer here, and I can see here these are all of the different variations of my manufacturers. So I can see here the Han and Kolb has a plus symbol versus an ampersand. Sometimes it's an H plus K. So these are all of the different variations. And as a supplier, I might not have been aware of the different variations. So I obviously put this into a spreadsheet. Perhaps somebody else had put this into a spreadsheet and I uploaded it on their behalf. But now I have the ability to really pinpoint what are the particular areas from a data quality perspective that I need to address going forward. Okay, so as we continue on with the demo, I have logged into HPM, which is the Heiler Product Manager, and so I've actually changed roles. So I am no longer the Hard Hat Co. supplier. I am now the role of the Domus Product Manager or Product Merchandising Manager. And the idea is I am responsible for taking supplier content and making it business ready for our customers. So as you can see here, we also are looking at the supplier scorecard that we got from Hard Hat Co. So the idea is that, again, Hard Hat Co. has submitted the data. It's gone through a inline data quality process, and we were able to, in real time, provide the feedback to our supplier to let them know where their product data needs additional assistance and work. So if we take a look at the scorecard here, this is the same scorecard that the supplier saw. So we have completeness, accuracy, and conformity. One thing that I do want to point out is the manufacturer status code is now all green. If you recall, the manufacturer status code, when the supplier was looking at it, was red. It was not acceptable, and the reason why it was unacceptable was because that the product data that Hard Hat Co. was presenting to us was in different names. So, for example, the manufacturer was represented as H plus K, H and K, etc. And what we've done at Domus is we have taken that data, and through that inline process, we standardize it to the appropriate, could be a D&B name, or it could be another reference table that we're using to standardize and to make that manufacturer into a conforming format. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take a look at the results down here on the bottom here. So again, we have brought in 369 items from our new supplier, and remember, in the supplier portal, Hard Hat Co., the supplier, actually saw that there were a number of items that failed. So we actually see that same status on the bottom here. So we can see again the items that failed specific validation test. So for example here, a lead time exceeding 15 days. So again, these are the business rules that Domus that we have set up to ensure again that the product data that we are receiving from our suppliers is in the right type of format that is necessary for us to again do business with. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the Product Manager tab. So the Product Manager tab is what we refer to as a perspective within the Heiler Product Manager. So there's these different perspectives of data quality, Product Manager, which is what is selected now, merge, and multi-domain, which you'll be seeing here a little bit later on in the demo. But the Product Manager tab, actually there's a lot of information that we're displaying here. So let me explain to you what you're seeing here. So on the left-hand side represents the different suppliers as well as the master catalog, which is basically the entire world of suppliers that Domus would be working with, which in that information would be going to, for example, a website, a mobile commerce site, and things like that. So if we go ahead and double click on the Hard Hat Co. Data transfer, so again these are the items that were brought through the supplier portal to the Domus PIM solution. And so what we're looking at here is a grouping. So again, we've narrowed down the selection of items that we're looking at here on the right to just the Hard Hat Co. items. We can do further drill down on here based on the manufacturer. So again, we're still looking at the Hard Hat Co. supplier, but now we're just looking at the suppliers. And if you notice here, we have again through the data quality process, all of the different variations of the manufacturers have now been conformed to a single value. So for example, like the H plus K and the H and K, again, that has been standardized to Han plus Kolb. So on the right here are actually the different items that are part of the Hard Hat Co. Selection. So again, we would have 369 items in here. I can continue to further filter this list by double clicking on, for example, the Orion manufacturer. So again, we will now narrow that down to, again, just to the Orion. And if I scroll down, or I could just pick any item here just to show you what you would be seeing. So again, I could select a particular item, double click on it, and what we see here are, again, some further drill down on the specific item. So one of the things that I want to point out, again, as part of our data quality process, and again, this is something that none of our competitors can offer today, is, again, Hard Hat Co. just provided a long description and a short description to us. But through Informatica data quality and the natural language processor or parsing, we were able to take information that is in this long description known as unstructured content, and through, again, the data quality process, create structured content from this. So for example, we have for example, the tool name, tool attribute, and then the actual value for that. So it's a roofing hammer. We see that the handle is made from steel tube and the weight is 0.6 kilograms. So again, all of this information is in this long description, but we're able to parse that out and to create highly normalized attribute values as a result of that process. So we also, through the process, have brought over image files. So in the file that was provided by Hard Hat Co., they provided some links to the actual image itself. The PIM solution offers a digital asset management component to this. So for example, this image would normally be managed in that particular instance, and we would just be referencing that particular URL reference. So again, as a product manager, one of the challenges that we have is, again, creating all of the different cross-sell, upsell, item substitution, and things like that. For a product manager, it's extremely time-consuming be able to create these relationships, typically done in different type of applications. The power of the Heiler Product Manager solution is that you're able to very quickly set up those relationships just through simple point and click and drag and drop type of operations. So again, if there's a particular item as part of the demo script that we're going to be focusing on, and that is down here, and it is this particular item. Let me continue to scroll down a little bit more. And it is this particular hammer here. So again, we see that we have these these great attributes again that were created as a result of the natural language parsing technology in IDQ. So what we want to be able to do is there are a couple of items that we want to have associated with this particular item. Because what we want is our customers, when they're viewing this particular item, for example, on an e-commerce site, I want to be able to offer them some cross-sell items along with this. So some of the items that I want to create that cross-sell relationship with are these chisels. There is a flat chisel as well as a cross-cut chisel. So I will go ahead and select this first one, and I will select the other one here, which is right here. So hold this down, select those two. And I will go ahead and just drag and drop right onto number 22 and I let go. At this point here, I have already have some predefined merchandising relationships, such as if these are accessories or part of a bundle, if they're a similar item. Again, what I want to do is I want to do a cross-selling relationship. So as soon as I do that and click OK, it's going to go ahead and create those relationships for me automatically. So now when I select, again, my item number 22, I see these item references here. So I can see here that these particular items, the ones I just selected, which was the flat chisel, which is this item here, as well as the cross-cut chisel, are now part of this particular cross-sell relationship. So when I take this content and syndicate it to my e-commerce platform, I'm going to be able to see that relationship as part of that particular page. So when Hard Hat Co. actually uploaded their product catalog through the supplier portal to Domus, we were actually able to automatically categorize each of these different items, the hammers, the chisels, etc., into different categories. So if I actually go up to this particular kind of home improvement tab here, I can see here that, for example, I have a couple of different items, different categories of items. So for example, under tools, I have assembly tools and hand tools. And if I click under hand tools, we can see here that, again, these are the different hammers that are part of Hard Hat Co. So again, as part of that process of importing data through the supplier portal to Domus, we're able to take the product data and put them into the appropriate category, because these are the categories that are going to be ending up, for example, on a website or onto a mobile commerce platform as well. So as the Domus product merchandising manager, I am satisfied with everything that I've done with the Hard Hat Co. supplier data. I've created all the necessary merchandising relationships such as cross-sell and upsell. I'm satisfied with the quality of the data, taking again the information that was present in the long description and creating the necessary attributes that my buyers need on the websites in order to make actual purchase decisions. So the next step is to actually take the Hard Hat Co. Product data, which right now is kind of living in its own little mini catalog, and actually merge that into my main master catalog, because in my main master catalog represents all of the different suppliers that I'm working with, and that is the actual content that gets syndicated and replicated to, again, my e-commerce platform, my mobile commerce platform, and other operational systems. So when I click on this merge button here, again, which is a perspective, again, I can see all of the different 369 records. And if you remember from the very early part of the demo, there was in the supplier portal, there was communication from the portal administrator that there were a number of different items that actually failed due to, for example, lead time exceeding 15 days, etc. So again, as part of that inline process, inline data quality process, the Hard Hat Co. supplier has received notification that these 36 items here which have failed need to be corrected. So these particular items will not be merged into our master catalog, only these items that represent the past. Okay. So what we have here on the bottom is some information about this particular item here. So this is a fail one. Let me go and pick a particular item that is actually passed. So what we see here, again, there is nothing in the current master catalog because this is a brand new supplier. So there is nothing in the master catalog. But again, it's going to show kind of a before and after of what is actually going to be represented in this master catalog. So really the next step in this process is to initiate initiate that merge process. So again, if I click on this particular button here and I go ahead and schedule merge, I can, for example, do the entire catalog, and I want to do it as soon as possible. So I'm going to click on OK. And at this point, I'm going to be taking the information that is in my Hard Hat Co. Call it maybe a mini catalog, and actually merge this into the master catalog. And again, as part of this process, we're actually going to be taking the product data, or a subset of the product data that's in my Hard Hat Co. Mini catalog, and I'm actually going to syndicate it to Informatica MDM. So Informatica MDM is also going to receive a copy of this product data, because ultimately what we want to be able to do as Domus is I want to understand not only just the product data as it exists by itself, but I want to understand the relationships to, for example, the different suppliers that might be representing that particular item. I want to also understand the different manufacturers. I want to understand, for example, the different locations, physical brick and mortar locations, as well as DCs, as well as some of the other entities. So at this point, the merge has completed, and we will go on to the next step. Okay, so now let's go to the product manager perspective here. So again, we have successfully merged all of the past product records from the Hard Hat Co. supplier catalog, and now it is all in the master catalog. So if I go ahead and double click on the master catalog, here is the Hard Hat Co. supplier. I can expand this and I can see the different manufacturers. So I will go ahead and select Orion here, because what I want to do now is I want to actually preview a particular item and what it's going to look like on my e-commerce site, as well as my mobile commerce platform as well. So I can go ahead and scroll down here, and I will select that particular hammer that we worked on earlier. So again, this is the same hammer where we created those cross-selling merchandising relationships. So if I go back up to this item, and if I go ahead and right-click on it, I can now go ahead and generate a preview. So I go ahead and select IBM Madison's, which is our e-commerce platform. And what we have now is a representation of what this particular item is going to look like on our e-commerce platform. So just keep in mind that we actually haven't published this to our live website. This is a simulation of what it's going to look like on our website. So again, here what we see is the particular item. So here is the picture of this particular item. We have our short description. We have some basic pricing information as well. And what we see here is the particular item along with those cross-sell. So those cross-sell items. So for example, this is the cross-cut chisel. And we also have, for example, our flat chisel. So if we continue to scroll down, I could see some more information on this particular item. Again, these are the attributes that were created as a result of our data quality NLP process. So for example, if we wanted to set up a search that would allow our customers on this website to search for example, particular hammers that had a particular wood type or a particular length or a range of lengths, now we have the actual information available on our e-commerce platform to support those type of searches. Okay, so I'll go ahead and close this, and I will open up another particular preview, which is our mobile commerce platform. So again, I'll go ahead and right click on this, and I will generate a preview of this particular item on our mobile platform. So again, here we see the same short description. We have the picture. Again, pricing. If we had multiple images, we would be able to do that as well as those attributes that were created as a result from this long description. Okay, so let's go ahead and close this particular preview. So we are almost done with this demo process. It's been a long number of steps here, but hopefully you understand the value that this joint solution can provide to our customers. So now let's go to the multi-domain perspective by selecting it. And so what we see here is a particular item here that is not interesting to us, but if we go to the Hard Hat Co. catalog, if we again go to our Orion manufacturer and scroll down to the particular item, which is again our particular hammer, what you see now is a preview of that. This is again Hierarchy Manager. We're using the data control to embed the Hierarchy Manager within the product information management solution here. So if you remember from the merge process, not only do we merge the product content from the Hard Hat Co. Kind of mini catalog into our master catalog, at that same time, we actually replicated the product information from Hard Hat Co. into Informatica MDM. And the PIM system is actually treated just as another source to the particular data record here. So there are a number of other sources that are providing information to this particular item here, which I'm going to show you in a second. So this is, again, our hammer that we've been using throughout this particular demo process. What we see here are, via the red line, the different suppliers. So here is our Hard Hat Co. supplier, but we actually have a couple of other suppliers that supply this same hammer. We also see the manufacturer as well as a product group that this particular hammer belongs to. So I can actually drill down into this particular hammer and look at the particular record as if we were logged into Informatica MDM. So we see the familiar interface here with, again, the information that was replicated from PIM into our MDM solution. And so again, we can see from a cross-reference perspective that we not only do have our PIM application as a source, but we also have SAP as a source as well. Again, we have the typical different child tabs here. For example, product attributes. So again, these are the same attributes that were created from the long description. The digital assets. So as part of the PIM offering, we have what's called the Digital Asset Manager, which provides asset management capabilities for images, for documents, and those type of assets. Location. So we can actually bring in information from our SAP system to show us, for example, the different brick and mortar stores as well as DCs that distribute and carry this particular hammer. And we also see a campaigns tab. So again, we can integrate through Informatica Data Services or through other application interfaces and bring in all of the different campaigns that are specific for this particular item here. So right now we can see here that there are a couple of different campaigns. We have a direct mail campaign. It's actually a mail-in rebate. We actually provide coupon information. It shows if it's a particular location-specific campaign, etc. So again, these are very valuable to really understanding the complete holistic view of this particular item here. We also have some selling metrics from our data warehouse, so we can understand who is buying this particular product. We have, for example, demographics on age and income, the gender, what particular region, if it's a store or e-commerce or mobile, as well as a total transaction count. And we also have supplier performance metrics. So being that Hard Hat Co. is a new supplier, we don't have a whole lot of information about them, but the idea here is to understand, for example, basic information such as costing information, lead time, replenishment, whether they're minority owned or a small business supplier, because at Domus we actually want to have the right mix of suppliers to provide that rich shopping experience for our customers. So we want to make sure that we have that. Okay, so if I go back to the Hierarchy Manager, again we can see here again all of the different relationships that are again part of this particular product. So in summary, what you've seen over the past 30 minutes is a very compelling demonstration of the Heiler PIM solution that has been integrated with Informatica MDM. This again is a solution that is unique in the marketplace and that provides value add to our customers that are in the retail, distribution, and manufacturing space, as well as many other untapped markets. So in summary, what you saw over the past 30 minutes is really at the very beginning is the supplier adoption process. So the Domus retailer is very interested in bringing on board new suppliers. Very difficult process to do. The joint solution again provides them the capabilities to not only adopt the new supplier, but to bring on board the product data in such a way that really almost eliminates most of the errors associated with product data. If you think about really what happens in the old process is they would send a spreadsheet to Domus. They would do some processing of it. They would have issues with the actual product data itself. They would probably do an email or fax back to the supplier, in this case here Hardhat, and they would continue that process on, and that would extend from days into weeks, and ultimately resulting in a delayed launch of that new supplier's content. So the supplier portal really allows the collaboration between our retailer Domus and, in this case here, our new supplier Hardhat Co. So they can do real-time exchange of not only actual data itself, but the typical kind of chatter that goes back and forth between a supplier and a retailer. The other really strong capability that we have was around the data quality. Obviously, you've seen the power of Informatica data quality in taking, again, very poor product data that we would get from a supplier that would have limited information, that would basically have maybe a part number, perhaps a long description, a short description, and some basic information. So being able to take that information to not only ensure that it's in the proper format, which is really kind of basic data quality, we really take it to the next level. Not only are we taking that long description, we're able to take that long description and to parse it out and to create highly attributed values as a result of that. And again, no one on the market has that powerful combination of capabilities. So really, ultimately, what this allows the retailer to do is, again, to take the supplier data, which is very limited in nature, and to really make it business ready, and do it in such a time frame that's very compelling, again, to our customers here. And from Domus's perspective, again, what they're trying to understand is really the holistic view of that particular product. So as a product sits on a shelf in a store, or perhaps in a warehouse ready to be shipped to someone through an e-commerce order, they want to understand not only just the basic attributes of the product, but they want to understand where they could potentially source that particular product, the different suppliers, the manufacturers that actually create that supplier, which particular stores, which particular DCs, again, would distribute that particular product. So again, they get that not only the supply chain view, but also the demand chain view of that as well. And ultimately, this helps Domus to be very competitive in an extremely competitive market, which is hard goods retail, and ultimately reduce the amount of time it takes to introduce new products to the market and have their customers be able to buy that. So again, I want to thank you for your time, and happy selling.